AM2 ProBurger. Filling tutorial. Recommendations. Make sure the machine is properly assembled. Please check the assembly video tutorial. Fix the machine on the work table with the provided G-type clamp. You can do it from the front or from the side. To start using the tool, we suggest that you fill the container cylinder with approximately half of the total mixing capacity. This will make it easier to learn the technique for a perfect molding at first. To correctly fill the mold, you must strictly follow the steps below. Slide the forming plate inwards, until it stops. Then exert force on the lever until you see that the mixture comes out of the filler viewer. At this time you will also notice that the lever will no longer go down. This is very important. As you start to pull the mold out, maintain a little less lever force than you used to fill, until about half of the patty is out of the machine. In this way, it is helping the mixture inside the mold to detach from the rest, and the mold is perfectly complete. If the force you exert while removing the mold is greater than necessary, you will notice that the formed part is thicker at the front end than at the back. On the contrary, if that force is less than necessary, the mold will be incomplete. In the following video you can see the complete sequence. Push the mold inwards until it stops. Exercise the filling force until the mixture appears through the filling viewer. Exercise a less than filling force until half of the burger is outside the machine. Remove the mold until it stops. More recommendations. The AM2 ProBurger manual hamburger former is a tool designed to make both meat and vegan or vegetarian pieces. Due to its design at the base of the cylinder as well as the high lever arm, it allows you to work with much less effort, both to fill and to remove the mold, compared to a traditional machine. However, a correct calibration of the mixtures to be formed will allow a higher productive yield to be obtained. If the mixture is very wet and with little consistency, that is, if the hamburger deforms too easily, it is likely that when you remove the mold it will come off and fall on its own. Try removing excess moisture from the mix by adding a drying ingredient, modifying the brewing process, or mechanically extracting moisture. On the contrary, if the consistency of the mixture is too heavy and dry, you will need to exert too much force, both to fill the mold and to remove it. For these cases, as long as the preparation cannot be modified, it is advisable to use molds with a smaller diameter and greater thickness. For thin molds, 8 mm or 10 mm, or large diameter, it is recommended to move the mold out faster. This will speed up the movement and give you time to extract the burger before it falls off on its own. Furthermore, the blends should preferably have a lighter consistency. For meat mixtures, the amount of kneading provides flexibility and greater fluidity, which makes it easier for the formed piece to remain in the mold when it is unmolded. For fine molds a certain degree of kneading is essential. Another variable that can affect consistency is the forming temperature. The colder the temperature, the greater the stiffness and consistency. Try varying this parameter until you find the most suitable point. Lastly, if your mixture has an ingredient such as flour, rice or egg, keep in mind that this will cause the mixture residue that is deposited on the surface of the mold to dry by air and movement, resulting in a slowing down of its movement, as said ingredients tend to become very sticky on drying. To fix this, you can spray the mold with water or a mixture of water and vegetable oil every time you refill the machine. You can also clean it with a damp cloth. Another option is to add vegetable oil or fat to the mixture, which attenuates this effect, or avoid using the aforementioned ingredients. Last recommendation. It is important that at the time of first use, you set aside a certain amount of time exclusively to test and learn the correct using technique. Once you have mastered it, you can schedule a production with the tool.